Naxat was a game publisher which shortly after its creation also became a game developer. Their first title was the trippy and seemingly Geiger-inspired pinball game Alien Crush, released in September 1988. They would go on to make several strategy games and side-scrolling shoot-em-ups, as well as adventure games like the Bonk spin-off Air Song. Another game I found really interesting was Toshi Tenso Keikaku Eternal City, which seems to be an exploration-based shoot-em-up with light Metroidvania elements. By this point, the developers had explored a ton of genres, and their next game would really let them show off what they had learned. Kaze Kiri Ninja Action, released on April 28, 1994. By this point, the TurboGrafx was more or less already a failure in the West. So even though this game doesn't really have any dialogue, and it would have been really easy to localize, we never got to see that happen. The game has a nice and atmospheric title sequence, and a text scroll explaining that we're in the Edo period, and it goes on to tell more details about the events occurring in the opening cutscene. This cutscene is beautifully rendered and shows Princess Tsushima being kidnapped by an enemy ninja clan led by Genbu, and she's taken to the castle of Lord Hiei. You play as the ninja Kaze, who has to infiltrate the castle to save the princess. From here on out, the game is a fairly simple beat-em-up, though because of the PCEngine standard controller, you only have two action buttons, jump and attack. By default, Kaze will throw knives when at a distance, which also takes a bit of his health, and he switches to his sword when close up. The real meat of this game comes from combining the directional input with the action buttons to perform different moves. You can flip, vanish, throw, and one of my favorite moves, which is kicking mid-air, which gets you to do a flip backwards when landing successfully. It just feels so satisfying. You can also slide by double tapping, or run, which is performed by going diagonally up. Kaze's health can heal over time, so it's a good idea to find a safe spot to just rest for a bit. I kinda wish it just refueled your health between stages because the combat is so satisfying, and the way the game feels just makes me want to go fast. But sometimes you just have to wait around a bit. Each stage also looks really pretty. Some of them have these little transitional spots where you walk downstairs, or some sort of opening cutscene, like watching Kaze coming from the water and climbing his way up a wall. There's some really nice details here too, like these little lights in the distance. The game is about an hour long, which isn't too bad for a beat 'em up. It's actually pretty lengthy. Each stage has a predetermined number of enemies for you to take down, which you can see by this enemy bar up here. So if you go too fast and can't progress, you may have to walk back a bit and find the enemies you missed. Combat has a nice flow to it. You can't just slash away non-stop because the further you get into the game, the more health some of the enemies have, indicated by their colors. When either you or them get knocked down, you get a moment of invincibility. I do find that the default enemies get kinda samey, which also goes for some of the backgrounds. It's nothing too bad, but I do wish that there was a bit more variety. The part I enjoy the most are the boss fights. Some of them just look so cool, and they generally just feel really engaging to fight. The game is slick and stylish, and with that beautiful anime art style, it just makes it all the more enjoyable, and it sounds and looks great. It's a good showcase for how nice some games in this system can look. I really like the areas with scrolling clouds. It's always nice to see. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's all very well done, and it feels as smooth as it looks. Also, important to note that when you game over, you can select the stage you lost on in the options menu, so technically you have infinite attempts. Here you can also change the difficulty and how many lives you get. As you get to the end of the game, you have a second to last boss fight within the castle. You can accidentally kill Suzuhime here, which will give you a bad ending. It's kind of funny, I don't really know why they bothered, but after that you go onto the castle rooftops to have your final battle against a rival ninja. It's a cool spot for a final fight, and after that the castle is brought down and you escape with the princess. But that's not all, you can now replay the game with a new character, another ninja named Suzu. They even redo the cutscenes just for this character, and I think that's super cool. Though she plays mostly the same, it's still a nice bonus. It's just so much more effort to put in, and I dig it. I really wish the game had a bit more variety in its gameplay. Being a ninja, I would have loved to see some kind of platforming or movement focused sections, maybe being able to jump from the roof and then down to the ground and back and forth fighting multiple enemies, something like that. It feels like the game comes so close to being fantastic if there was just a bit more meat on its bones. I feel like it would have been an easy game to recommend, but as it stands, I still think it's worth a try. And that's all I got for you this time. Thanks for watching.